Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News with me, Benis Abubeidulansa. This bulletin is coming to you live from the Joy 99.7 FM studios, Kokomlemle in Accra at digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by Telisol 4G, just a touch. And coming up, staff of Office of Special Prosecutor involved in fuel stealing, accountant sacked. Martin Amidu's secretary still at post. We have details. Also, National Peace Council asks government to extend training on detecting early warning signs of terrorism to the citizens as Ghana firms its security preparedness in countering possible terror attack.
The training on identifying early warning signs of terrorist attack could be extended beyond the security personnel to affect the general public so that the entire citizenry will become sensitized.
We'll also hear from the police on actions to take when you encounter a suspicious person. And Joy News Techs reveal the number of minors engaged in illicit sex trade in Kumasi is growing with little intervention by city authorities.
And coming up in sports later, Black Stars coach Kwesi Appiah is to defend his provisional squad for the Africa Cup of Nations today. And ahead of tomorrow's announcement, goalkeepers trainer Richard Kinson says his three recommended choices are in top shape.
And police yet to charge Shatawale and Stoneboy after the arrest on Sunday evening.
The video clip is being studied and witnesses are also being spoken to. And at the end of the day, the police might be in a better state of mind as to the such charges to prefer.
We have details as Charterhouse CEO says she's disappointed in the incident.
And I met with him. I had a one-on-one dinner with him. And his demeanor was totally different. He sounded very apologetic about his past behavior and promised to collaborate with us in all ways.
We'll hear more from her as she said she met Shatawale prior to this event and is disappointed in his conduct. Thanks for your company. The details now. 2 employees of the Office of the Special Prosecutor have been cited in the stealing of fuel. Investigations by the Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu revealed that Peter Owusu-Efriye, accountant, and Joseph Dasana, secretary to the Special Prosecutor's Office, drew 10,000 Ghana cedis worth of fuel monthly, even though they're not entitled to it. Joy News can exclusively report that even though the investigations established damning evidence against the two, only the accountant has been sacked. Martin Amidu's secretary is still at post. My colleague Kojo Yankson has some details of developments at the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and he joins me in the studio. Now, Kojo, what do we know about these 2 OSP employees?
Now, Bernice, among the documents we've cited is a memo from the then acting head of investigation, Julius Zodanu, to Martin Amidu, detailing how Joseph Dasana, who is the Office of Special Prosecutor's secretary, and Peter Owusu-Efriye, an accountant, both signed for fuel coupons to the tune of almost 10,000 Ghana cedis, even though, as unconfirmed staff on secondment, neither of them were entitled to fuel coupons. Now, the memos showed further discrepancies with Joseph Dasana's fuel claims. In one day, he made 2 fuel claims, 400 Ghana cedis and 300 Ghana cedis, both of them for his 2018 Toyota Corolla. Now, this is a vehicle whose tank can only take 250 to 300 Ghana cedis worth of fuel at full capacity, after which you would literally have to drive this vehicle no less than 600 kilometers before you would require a refill.
So what action has the OSP taken after receiving this memo?
Right. Now, Joy News' sources reveal that in spite of the fact that the OSP's chief investigator submitted all of this evidence to Martin Amidu on the 12th of December last year, Joseph Dasana remains at post as Mr. Amidu's secretary, while the accountant has been transferred back to the Controller and Accountant General's office from where he was originally seconded. Now, both of them remain government employees. Neither of them has been prosecuted.
Kojo Yankson there giving us details of that story of staff of the Office of the Special Prosecutor involved in fuel stealing. The accountant has been sacked, but Mr. Amidu Secretary remains at post. Let's do some other stories now. The National Peace Council is asking government to extend training on identifying early warning signs of terrorism to cover the citizenry. Chairman of the Ashanti Regional Branch, Right Reverend Christopher Nyako Andam, said this at a capacity building training for council members in Kumasi. Now, he said although government and security agencies have indicated they are stepping up security, especially at the country's borders, much more would have to be done, and that includes involvement of citizens.
We appreciate the effort of the government and our security agencies for taking steps to act on the early warning signs. It is a humble plea that the training on identifying early warning signs of terrorist attack could be extended beyond the security personnel to affect the general public, civil society organizations, churches, mosques, so that the entire citizenry will become sensitized on the issue and take the necessary precautions. In the meantime, I would advise the good people of Ghana in general, and particularly in the Ashanti region, to take their personal security seriously. We should be cautious about strangers in our communities and gatherings and quickly report such to the appropriate quarters.
Right Reverend Christopher Nyako Andam is chairman of the Ashanti Regional Branch of the National Peace Council, and he's been speaking at an event. Ohimin Teria is there. He joins us with more details. Ohimin, you've been trying to get access to details of a terrorism report launched by the council. What did you find out?
For now, the council is yet to launch the terrorism report. The information I'm picking indicates that the council has furnished the necessary authorities with information regarding activities of groups of persons believed to be members of jihadist groups operating in Ghana, and these teams are believed to have been part of the attacks in Burkina Faso, and some of them are here using local people to manipulate them and also implement whatever plans that they have in the country as far as terrorism attacks are concerned. And they have been using these local that officials describe as vigilantes, and they have been meeting in some selected mosques across the country, including Ashanti region.
Ohemeng, thank you very much for those details. Meanwhile, the Ghana Police Service is asking church leaders to pay extra attention in protecting children who worship in their auditoriums. Accra Region Police PRO DSP Ifyatinge said that seems to be neglected by most churches, a situation which should not be. She was speaking on Joy FM's Christian Talk Show, A Walk with Jesus, last night.
Very critical area is that of the children's department, because we always concentrate on the adults and leave that of the children.
Interesting.
If I am going to the children's department, what kind of impediments do I have on my way? So when we are talking about the adult security, let us also divide the same thing from the Sunday schools, because it's very important. At least you can walk into any Sunday school and just pick a child and that is it. You know, who is there watching what? And kids are so vulnerable.
Well, she's also being given tips on what to do when you encounter a suspicious person.
We need to be very observant and ask questions. Yes, it is a public place, but I still believe it is a private place. So you should be able to confront people and ask them. We need to look at the demeanor of people. And we really need to ask questions. That is what I believe. Trying to even confront the person, not that kind of, abusive confrontation.
Okay.
But asking questions.
Okay.
Directly to the person, trying to find out information alone.
Okay.
Is enough deterrent. It tells the person that yes, and somebody is watching.
Accra Region Police PRO DSP Efia Tenge there. Now, police say it is yet to charge two dancehall artists, Shatta Wale and Stonebwoy, after their arrest yesterday. Stonebwoy and Shatta Wale clashed on stage when Stonebwoy was announced winner of Reggae Dancehall Artist of the Year at the VGMAs. In the ensuing confusion, Stonebwoy pulled out a gun, an action he explained later in a press statement as self-defense. The two were subsequently arrested and detained. We'll hear from the police and speak to my colleague Maxwell Agbaba, who's been to the police stations where these artists are believed to be in custody. But first, if you missed the action at the 2019 Vodafone Ghana Music Awards, here's a wrap.
Stonebwoy! Stonebwoy prepares to hit the stage, gesticulating with his fingers. He had won the award 5 times. Before the Kpokeke hitmaker could collect his award, violence erupted. Shatta Wale and people he describes as his militants also made their way up onto the stage amidst some pushing and shoving. Amidst the confrontation on the stage, television visuals showed Stonebwoy brandishing a gun from a pouch despite being restrained by his aides. From several accounts, pepper spray and other gases went up, causing some patrons to flee. Here, some eyewitnesses.
The main motive of Shatta going on stage was actually to go and congratulate him, but I think it was miscommunication. Because I blame the security. He doesn't do that fight. I knew that he was going to fight. No, he never went to No, he never goes in the good fight.
For nearly an hour, the VGMA was held up with security officials attempting to calm tensions.
We'll have no choice but to have the police make you take your seats. We've embarrassed ourselves enough.
And at this point, Stonebwoy had received another award and had an explanation of a previous incident. You all saw what just happened. The other guy always looking to foment trouble. Did this explanation do him any good? Well, he doesn't seem to think so himself.
I mean, I'm really sorry for the incident that happened earlier on, and I only had to react out of natural instincts because we all know how premeditative some people can be. So we couldn't come in unprepared because anything could have happened like you guys saw. And I apologize to the whole masses of Ghana.
Well, that was a wrap of that incident. Well, the two, Stonebwoy and Shatta Wale, were supposed to be in the Dansoman and Tesano police stations respectively, but we are learning Shatta Wale is not at the Tesano police station. My colleague Maxwell Agbaba visited both stations this morning. He joins me in the studio. Maxwell, what did you find out at these two stations?
Bennett, yesterday at 9:54 p.m. in a post that now has 19,000 likes, Shatta Wale actually posted that he'll be sleeping at the Tesano police station and urged his fans to go live and sing his songs till he comes back. We've been to the Tesano police station. We've been speaking to some top police officers there. They have been telling us that yesterday in the evening he was brought there in the company of some policemen, but that was just for a short period before he was taken to another location. But as it stands right now, we still do not know which police station Shatta Wale Charles Nyama is currently. But checking from his social media page, he just posted 56 minutes ago, and he said yesterday was a blessing. #freedom. But we still do not know which police station, his whereabouts, I should say. For Stonebwoy, we were at the Dansoman police station. We saw him in the crime officer's office at the Dansoman police station. He was in a black shirt, black trousers with white shoes. He was there with his management. We tried speaking to some members of his management team, but they would not speak to us. They said he has already released a statement apologizing for what happened on Saturday, so they don't want to speak to it. We got closer to the commander of the Dansoman Divisional Police to speak to him also about what exactly is happening, because it looked like they were interrogating him, but he also said he is not in a position to speak to it. He directed us to the public relations officer of the Accra region, Efia Tenge, but she's also not responded to our calls now.
In fact, we're still trying to reach Director of Operations for the Accra region, ACP Kwesi Fori, on this, but yesterday he spoke to my colleague Kwesi Parker Wilson and gave him some details of this arrest.
The regional CID has just completed preliminary investigations, and at the moment they are being taken into custody, awaiting further investigations.
On what basis is the police detaining the two suspects?
For now, the matter is under investigations, and the police are of the view that they might need them for further investigations.
But what are the charges leveled against them?
It cut across a lot of things. the video clip is being studied and witnesses are also being spoken to and statements also obtained from them. And at the end of the day, the police might be in a better state of mind as to the such charges to prefer.
ACP Kwesi Fori is Director of Operations for the Accra Region Police. He was speaking to my colleague Kwesi Parker Wilson there. Now, Shatta Wale was banned in 2016 from the awards because he maligned the VGMA board. The ban was only lifted this year. While speaking on News Desk on the Joy News channel, CEO of Charterhouse, Theresa Ayaude, said she had met Shatta Wale personally and they had had discussions, and so she was a bit surprised by his conduct.
We've always given him a chance to reinvent himself and to represent himself to us, and some of these attempts have been thrown back in our faces. And so it got to a point where we took a stance, and then we stood by that stance for about 2 years, just for the peace of mind and for, to just maintain our grips with regards to the event. And actually this year, I made a personal effort to reach out to him and to engage a lot of these artists on a one-on-one to explain to them what we were doing and what this event meant to the industry and where we were taking this event even internationally. I met with him, I had a one-on-one dinner with him, and his demeanor was totally different. He sounded very apologetic about his past behavior and promised to collaborate with us in all ways. And in true to that, we actually worked with him on the nominees jam in Kumasi. He was there, Stonebwoy was there, they all performed, and there was no issue. We did the same at the Independence Square for the VGMA experience. Stonebwoy performed, he performed, and there was no issue. So we thought, okay, we're getting there, and so this incident actually took us completely by surprise.
You have there Theresa Ayaude. She is CEO of Charterhouse. They are organizers of the Vodafone Ghana Music Awards. Well, Vodafone, the official sponsor for the award, has released a statement. My colleague Enes Menu joins me in studio with extracts.
Yes, Bennett, Vodafone released a statement today, just this morning. Let me bring you details of what Vodafone is saying. They're saying that we refer to the unfortunate incident that occurred during this year's edition of Vodafone Ghana Music Awards on May 19, 2019. We wish to state as follows. The scuffle on stage during the VGMA is regrettable. However, we acknowledge that a large number of players in the industry do not subscribe to such conduct. Vodafone, as a responsible organization, is against all such acts of violence, no matter the circumstances. We will support any review process in the incident to ensure that our commitment to recognize and celebrate achievement and success in the music industry is not compromised. For now, our passion for music and for the industry remains solid. We look forward to an exciting future for the industry, and that's a statement from Vodafone.
And some statements have also been released. Stonebwoy's record label has issued one. What
Let me bring you an excerpt of that, Bennett. It says, I would like to extend my sincerest apologies and deepest regret for the part my conduct played to what should have been the biggest celebration of Ghanaian music last night. Because the statement was issued yesterday. The other paragraph says, I am taking remedial measures to ensure that there will never be a repetition of such actions. It goes on to speak to Vodafone, says to Vodafone Ghana, my sincerest apologies to you for bringing your brand to a low moment like this. As artists, we appreciate what you have invested and continue to invest in our talent. We hope that you will continue to support Ghanaian music.
And indeed, that question, I posed that question to Theresa Ayaude, who is a CEO of Charterhouse, when she joined me on News Desk earlier on Multi TV, and she did say that the board will meet to determine what sanctions or what decision to make over Stonebwoy's plea that he hopes this incident will not affect his relationship with them. But there has been a lot of reactions to Saturday night's controversies, and they've been mixed. Here's one from Shatta Wale's father.
He was sweating behind where he sat. We were behind the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs. We were seated behind him. And so there were 6 empty vehicles which were allocated to Shatta. And so my daughter and I sat there waiting for Shatta to come. And then we decided, together with a gang of 14, to sit behind them because we didn't want to mingle with they were all around that place. I saw all of them. And so he took advantage of the award with the noise and the jubilation that went to it to relocate to where I was sitting.
Shatta Wale's father there explaining what happened, and we've also been speaking to music lovers on the streets of Accra on their impressions of what characterized the VGMAs.
I think the dynamics is changing from entertainment to a personal gains. The last time that I realized this kind of things was Biggie, Tupac, Fajo, and Jaru. But then it's coming to reality in Ghana here, which is we should take it serious. When you should have a program like this with top people attending, top dignitaries and other people attending. I think you have security checks. So that means I think if anybody can go inside with gun and just harm. Why don't they screen them? I think those times we had more artists like Kojo Entry, Pabobo and things. They weren't engaging in this kind of, and their music too last. I think what they are doing is not our music. It's like about personal attacks.
They should caution those people very, very well because it's bringing things Ghana music also down, especially Ghana here.
You heard that some music lovers sharing their thoughts on what happened at the VGMAs with regards to Shatta Wale and Stonebwoy Bro. You're listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM with me, Benes Abubeidu Lansa. Still to come, Joy News checks reveal the number of minors engaged in illicit sex trade in Kumasi is growing with little intervention by city authorities.
The new Ghana card is more than just a way to identify yourself. It opens you up to a world of benefits.
The sooner you register for your Ghana card, the closer you are to accessing a new world of secure transactions and services. The requirements to register are as follows:
a genuine birth certificate or a valid Ghanaian passport and personal information such as the name of your parents or legal guardians, residential address, and your digital address code.
If you don't have a birth certificate or a valid Ghanaian passport, don't worry. One relative or two members of the community who have been registered and have received their Ghana card can vouch for you under oath. You will, however, need your digital address code. You will not be allowed to register without it.
Any person who provides false information during this process is liable to prosecution, leading to the payment of a fine and/or serving a jail term.
Watch out for registration details to the media and the national identification team in your community. Make sure you register for your Ghana card.
Ghana card, connectivity, access, and progress.
Thank you for staying here on the Midday News. It's now time for sports with Ridwan Asante.
Yes, tomorrow Tuesday, we'll know which Black Stars players would be heading to Egypt for the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations when Kwesi Appiah announces his provisional 30-man squad. But before that, Appiah is supposed to defend his selected players after a meeting with the nomination committee and the Black Stars management team today. Meanwhile, Richard Kinson, who is the goalkeepers trainer, says the Gloves men he has recommended are all capable of being first choice.
I have more than 3 good goalkeepers inside and outside Ghana, and they can all play. But one will start. Second one will be assistant, and the third one also will be assistant. But if you give them all chance, they will play. Even the 5, they can play with a little bit motivation. They will play. So I am praying for the Lord to give me the spirit of understanding, the spirit of love, the spirit of motivation, and the spirit to choose the right people or the right goalkeepers, whether 3 or 4 or 5. I don't want to mention anybody names here, but I know I have about 5 now, and they can all play.
Richard Kinson there. There's more discussion on the Black Stars squad that's on the Joy Sports track at 1 p.m. with Gary L. Smith and the team.
Thank you, Redwan Asante there with sports. Now, the Ghana Refugee Board says it is ready to carry out its own assessment of some 300 Burkina Faso nationals who cross their border into Ghana once they are notified. The Burkinabés have so far told Ghanaian officials they are fleeing from a terrorist group. There have been a series of attacks in Burkina Faso, forcing Ghana security agencies to be on high alert amidst concerns the country could also be hit. MC for Sisala East Municipal Assembly, Karimu Nyayo, tells Joy News the decision to classify them as asylum seekers or refugees will be taken after the profiling.
Currently, the immigration is there profiling them. The instruction that is to go and register them. we'll know the number, and then possibly we'll take the next step.
But what more information have you picked from them in terms of their real intention?
Oh, the real intention is just to do farming, because according to them, they are farmers in where they are coming from. But because there's no peace in that area, they cannot settle there and do farming. So they are now looking for a conducive environment where their lives will be safe, and then they can also do their economic activity as farming.
That was MC for Sisala East Assembly Karimu Nayo. Now, the Ghana Refugee Board, meanwhile, says it's yet to be notified of this influx, but has already granted asylum status to more than 200 Burkinabés. Teta Paddy is project coordinator of the board.
Registered 283 people, but they were running away from tribal clashes, and they've been here since early part of this year.
These people that you're talking about, you are saying that they made an application for refugee status and they were granted?
They have not been granted yet. You know, it goes through a process when they apply for refugee status. So what we've done is that we've registered them as asylum seekers. The technical difference is that when you apply for asylum, you are referred to as an asylum seeker. You are still of concern to us. We protect you and everything. And then we take you through a process that determines whether you are accepted as a refugee.
And what is the process like in terms of such fresh persons who have come in and claiming that they want to seek asylum? What are they supposed to do?
If people come individually, we register them and then we interview them. There's an in-depth interview that we have for persons who apply for asylum before they are granted asylum, if they will be granted asylum. We do a lot of research into their country of origin and determine whether the reasons they are giving could be true, if the reasons are plausible.
You heard the Teta Paddy, he's project coordinator of the Ghana Refugee Board. Child Rights International Ghana is calling on the Ghana Police Service to, as a matter of urgency, apologize to the family of 3 missing Takoradi girls. Executive Director Bright Appiah says the police must have a face-to-face discussion with the family to help ease the trauma they are currently facing. Addressing a news conference in Accra today, Mr. Appiah also called on the state to provide some social services such as clinical psychologists for the family.
There will be the need for Ghana Police Service to apologize to the families in relation to the manner in which they made the family believe they found the girls, and subsequently events point to the fact that they are not even certain about the whereabouts of the girls. So there's a need for Ghana Police Service to render apology to the families, and again establish an interface discussion with the families on the missing girls on a regular basis to update them, if there need be, on the investigation process. If the families are made aware of every stage of the investigation, as an organization, we believe that it will calm the situation and their emotions will be stabilized.
Bright Appiah is Executive Director of Child Rights International. He's also been calling on Parliament to hold the gender interior ministers to the House to be queried on their handling of this matter. It's now time to know what's trending. Mapito CBD is here.
Well, Bernice, it seems like the SM lawyers are out on Twitter because hashtag Free Shatta Wale is trending at number 1. And Abdul Tidia says, you can detain the country boss, you can't detain we the SM lawyers. Hashtag Free Shatta Wale. Adgasti McCoy says, hashtag Free Shatta Wale and Stoneboy. Those need to be detained are Black City and Shatta's bodyguards. No one is above the law and everyone needs to be questioned. And Adbrak Hodro says, now our watch begins. If people ask what happened here, tell them winter came for BIM Nation. Hashtag Free Shatta Wale.
Thank you, Mapito CBD there with what's trending. And in this edition of the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM, I am Bernice Abubedulansa. Our top story, staff of Office of Special Prosecutor involved in fuel stealing, accountant sacked whilst Martin Amidu's secretary still at post. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Enjoy the rest of your day.